Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today I am both surprised and a little bit honored to be able to take a look at this guy. It is the Transformers Earthrise Runabout, and he's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, loud 'em out, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. Helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, and a whole bunch of groups to which I either mod or admin. All of those links are down in the description below. Check out all my social media. That's also all linked in the description below. Whew. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member. And today, our focus is going to be on this guy. This is Runabout. And I am honored to be able to have this guy. Huge thank you. Shout out to not one, but two people. One of them being Joe Ford, the other being Paul in his prime. Both of those guys have sent me a copy of this guy. So I actually have two, which here in Canada, and it's like gold, to be honest with you, because we have no official announcement yet of him. So, thanks to the generosity of those two lads, I now have one, and I have the ability to help somebody else have one. Sometimes you can't always pay it back, but you can certainly always pay it forward. And more than ever now, I think it's important that as a community of fans, we really should be trying to help one another and look out for one another. Maybe that's the lesson to learn over the last year. But this guy is pretty fantastic. I think he might be a bit better than Runamuck, and those of you who have been around the channel for a while know that Runamuck was actually on the top 10 worst list for the year. Why was he? How does this guy stack up? How about, without any further ado, we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so here we are in episode 799, and in episode 787 I took a look at the Transformers Earthrise Runamuck, and of course now I have an opportunity to look at Runabout. I need to actually thank two people for this. I want to give a huge thank you and a big shout out to Joe Ford and to Paul in his prime. Both of those guys sent me a copy of Runabout. Now, as it is here, you see but one copy. The other copy is actually going to a friend of the channel, Micheal Desrosiers, who has been an enormous supporter, more than I think anybody at all knows. And so I thank both of them for sending this guy along my way. He is, of course, in the United States a Target exclusive. There has been no official word, as of this recording, of his release in Canada. If I was to speculate and guess, I would guess Toys R Us in February. That would be my guess. But that's pure guess. I don't know anything for sure about that at all. As far as I know now, this is only available in North America via Target in the United States. So a huge thank you to both of those guys. I had, as a lad, G1 Runabout, and I always call him Runamuck by mistake. But I had Runabout. He was one of the few, I'll say, full-size Decepticons I had, and even as a boy I used to think, man, if only his legs could split apart, because they were like one solid piece because of the gimmick. Man, his arms are right there on his side. If only they were able to, I guess, like, at least rotate around. I never thought of elbows, but I did think of that. Now, I looked at G1 Runabout in episode 284, and as imperfect as he is, he was always one of my main Decepticons. So for years, I have wanted an update to Runabout, and by association, Runamuck. And of course we had the, Collector Club ones, but from that Wheeljack mold. The Wheeljack mold is terrific, and you know what, this is a good use for it. But, that being said, those in the aftermarket go for insane prices, and I just could not see a way clear to do it. The Blackjack Legends mold was used in Japan for Runabout. And I thought we'd get Runamuck from it too, though we didn't. And I wanted that at the time, but again, the cards just didn't play out that way. And there's been a couple of third-party offerings that I've considered, but they didn't quite hit the mark that I wanted them to hit. Maybe the fates all along intended for me to wait to get these deluxes. Now, I was somewhat harsh in my assessment of Runamuck because I experienced certain QC issues. We'll talk about that as we go through. But let's see how Runabout compares. You'll notice he's in vehicle mode. That's deliberate because since in episode 787 we saw the conversion going from the way he comes in a package, robot to vehicle, this is an opportunity to do the conversion going back from vehicle to robot. But before we get into any of that, we're going to... Yeah, buddy, take a look at that packaging first. This is your typical Earthrise packaging. It's so strange. Usually, stuff that is exclusive like this has some sort of subline name on it. Because this was a Target exclusive, I would expect it to be part of Cybertronian villains, but I don't really see markings on it for Cybertronian villains. I think that this is an example of something much like Blue Streak that was intended to be a Wave 4 for Earthrise, a proper Wave 4, that ended up getting shoehorned as an exclusive because everything got jammed together and shortened. So, this is what we have on the front. Of course, nice artwork of Runabout on the side. Typical over here, and on the back we have the product images. I don't know what that sticker is, but it was there. Luckily, I'm not a mint in box dude. This is the way, by the way, for fun fact, this copy actually came in the the Target shipping box. So this is it wasn't even opened, it came straight from there. This is the way it was packaged. So I don't know if Target typically does this in the United States. I have no idea, but it was done here. It's over the product images. Don't really care personally. We got us some typical Earthrise instructions. And I will note that these are proper Earthrise instructions. A lot of the exclusives have the instructions, but they don't have the Cybertronian stats on them. Only the actual mainline waves. Selects hasn't had it. The Netflix War for Cybertron series hasn't had it. Nothing has had it except the mainline, the main 3 waves. Well, guess what? More evidence that this was supposed to be probably part of a 4th wave. He does have the stats right there. He comes with a red blaster, just like the black one that came with Runamuck. A different red blaster. They can both take blast effects. I don't know what this is a repack from. It's definitely a repack from something. Whatever. It's also painted red nicely, and if you're so inclined, you can put them together. I would think that the inclusion of the second blaster and this extra paint was made possible because this was really just a repaint for the most part, and it's kind of easier to produce these mold reuses when you don't have to kind of remake the mold a second time. So sometimes you get a few extra little bells and whistles like an extra accessory. And here in vehicle mode we have Runamuck and Runabout together. I find it strange that Runabout has white wheel rims or hubcaps or whatever you want to call them. That being said, while I think white is a weird choice there and they probably should have been red, I'm not going to complain because we actually got them painted. I think that that's splendid. Again, we have the taillights painted. I think that that's splendid. Love it. I love the look of the black and red. Even as a lad, that's why I bought Runabout over Runamuck, because I preferred the red and black look. I thought that it just worked beautifully together. But both vehicles look tremendous. Now, you know me, in terms of things like paint accuracy and whatnot, I always defer to the G1 animation, or, well, whatever the going animation is. In this case, how close is this to that? Pretty close. Not perfect. And I'm not going to give it a score next till we get him in his robot mode, but I will talk about kind of why it's not perfect. The red detailing, the red stripe along the side, racing stripe I guess it is, pinstripe, it's not there in the animation, it's just a solid black, but I like it because it breaks up the solid black here. So I give it a pass, but it's not accurate. In terms of location of Decepticon logos, there's a Decepticon logo here on the roof. Why? Because it should be on his chest in robot mode. It is what it is, it's a necessary evil. However, in vehicle mode, it should be on his hood instead of on the roof. I don't think that there's, well, I guess you could have avoided it because the chest is the chest. The roof is actually false roof. I take that back. This could have been avoided. Instead of putting the Decepticon logo up here, it could have been on the hood where it's supposed to be. And there's also supposed to be Decepticon logos on the 2 doors. That's not there. So, misplacement of Decepticon logos, and the red pinstripe, both inaccurate. Nevertheless, this looks absolutely splendid. Now we're going to do the transformation. We remove that and take it off. By the way, he rolls tremendously well as well. I will note before we do the transformation that the hood, you can peg it in, but there's a slight gappage issue there. Starscream Wife was really kind of taken out of the mode because of it. It really sort of bothered her. It didn't bother me so much, but it is there. I don't find that I have it the same on Runamuck as I have it on Runabout. Yeah, it doesn't ruin it for me, but like Starscream Wife noticed it, so it's a noticeable thing. To do the transformation, we begin by picking that up and the whole backpack up. This hinge that the backpack is on for Runabout is significantly tighter than it was for Runamuck. Scary tight. I've done it a couple of times and it is, to me, frightening. I think it's starting to loosen up where I've transformed him a couple of times. I haven't noticed any stretch marks or nothing like that, but it does, as you move it, I feel like, I'm afraid I might break it. So we pick it up, we put the tires in, and we bring that down over the back. I hope it loosens up even more as time goes on, but it's something to know. If you have a better tolerance one, cool, but I can only speak for the copy I have. Then we come here to the side and we unpeg the door. There's a little tab there and a little like ridge on the door that pegs over it. Same here, unpeg it, and we can even bring the shoulders down. Then we can even turn this and bring the chest forward. I do find that the chest here is also tighter to bring forward than it was on Runamuck. And we bring the head out, which we all know that that's a challenge to do. There. We close the chest up, we bring the head down, and we come to the back and we collapse the backpack up on the back. Though it's not. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Did you hear that? Just collapsing it up. Scary, scary sound. But it is up there now. We turn the arm and we bring out a fist. And again, we turn the arm and we bring out a, if I can do it, bring out a fist. And we rotate the guy at the waist. We split the legs and angle down a foot. Angle down a foot. Extend the leg and tab in the knee. Extend the leg and tab in the knee. I'm going to stand him up. He's going to go at a frame, so I'm actually going to readjust things right now, but that's it for the transformation. Before I back up and kind of show the robot mode side by side and start doing some grading, I wanted to show a close-up here of both heads. They are different head sculpts. So, while Runabout not only came with 2 accessories, both painted, he also has a new head sculpt, and it's accurate. The 2 heads in the G1 animation were actually different. That's the only thing that was different on them, but they were different. And the offerings that we got here in Earthrise reflect that. And here we go in robot mode. So the transformation, honestly, I find it a little bit better than I did with Runamuck. I'm going to say the transformation here is more like an 8, 8.5. I don't remember what I gave Runamuck, but I feel like it's a little better here. The only concern I have with the transformation is that back hinge is tighter here than it is on Runamuck. However, when it comes to tabbing stuff in, I find it does it better, and I think, and I could be wrong about this, but I think the reason could be that there's more paint sort of slathered on for the white effect on Runamuck, and I think that that affects some of the tabbing a little bit. And I think that here we mostly have just black plastic. I could be wrong about that. I absolutely could be wrong about that. But I feel like it's a little bit better here, so I'm going to say 8.5. In terms of look for animation accuracy, this mode is pretty good. The red pauldrons over his shoulders should be black. And again, that pinstripe shouldn't be there, but I let it pass. And the Decepticon logo shouldn't have a silver backing. It should just be on his chest. That all being said, oh, and the red accessories, that's inaccurate. It should just be simple, black, short one, just like Runamuck has. But that being said, I'm not going to complain about any of those things. I think it adds to it. So I'm going to say overall, like subjectively, I think his look is a 10. Objectively, because of the couple of inaccuracies, you definitely know it's Runamuck or Runabout, but it's a 9, 8.5, 9. We'll say 8.5. Keep it all consistent. 8.5 so far. Then we get to the articulation. Well, I had an issue with my Runamuck that really affected his articulation. The head absolutely did not move. Luckily, I was able to A, fix it, but as it turned out, another one did show up and I was able to exchange it out. If you are unable to exchange it out, go back, check out the Runamuck video. See what I did to allow some movement in the head in case you come across that issue. I think it's limited. I think most people did not encounter it, but you never know. So, because I was able to change it out with Runamuck, his articulation is a bit better because the head has the movement now that it should have. So what about Runabout? It's pretty good. It's all right. We have a head that can go, it's easier if I pick it off actually, left and right. It doesn't really go up and down though. Like there's a bit of wiggle to it, but not much. The shoulder pauldrons do make moving the head a bit difficult, but luckily because the head can move out, like it's easy to rotate it the way you want and tab it back in. The arms, they can go, I guess, out to this way out to the side, which is good. Can it go up? I don't think it can go all the way around. I think the like roof of the car stops it from going all the way around, which is a bit of a bummer. Bicep swivel, elbow to 90 degrees. Nothing at the wrist in terms of a swivel or anything, but it could like flip in if you want, if that, you know, that's a thing you want to be able to do. The waist, that's good. Dig it, like the waist. Get that up and over right about there. The legs can go not back as far as I thought they could. Look at that. I guess they can go back no, they don't go back super far. But they do a super duper high kick forward. We do have a thigh swivel that's a mushroom kind of up in the thigh there. Way out to the side, full of splits. We have a knee, and it's a bit weird. That's the actual knee. And I guess it goes to 90 or just under 90. But because of the transformation, like you can actually, you kind of break the sculpt, but you can get a super duper deep knee. So I'm going to actually give it to him, to be honest with you, and say that he has a great knee. Because you can make it a great knee. And he has ankle tilt and forward and back all around at the ankles. Again, I wish the arms could go all the way around, but it's not bad. It's really not bad at all. I'm going to say that our boy Runabout is probably the slightly stronger of the two molds. Here's the thing. I actually put Runamuck on my top 10 worst of 2020. Not because it's bad, because it's not, but because I did have certain issues with the way everything tabbed together. I did encounter a bad QC issue with the head, and I've heard of some other QC issues with the guy. I have yet, as of this recording, to hear of any QC issues with Runabout. So I feel like there was a little more kind of fit and finish, spit and polish that was done with Runabout. The articulation is pretty good. Again, I'm going to say 8.5. Overall, Runabout is a solid 8.5, 8.75. Is he perfect? No, but he is quite excellent. And honestly, as somebody who's been waiting 30 plus years for a proper update for these guys, much like I felt when we first had RC updated with Generations, and I felt like it was so long overdue, and I felt a certain wave of joy for having that update, I feel the same thing here. A wave of joy for having Runamuck and Runabout. And here we are once again, and here he is, or rather here they are. So, I said that this guy is slightly better than Runamuck, and I think he is based on the copies that I have. I do find that the tolerances are a little on Runamuck. Some are slightly too tight. I did have the head issue, I was able to change it. But this guy in particular, I love the black and the red playing off each other. I think it's really, really smart. I love the fact that he comes with 2 blasters. I think that's cool. I like that his face is broken up with a little bit of silver in around the eyes. I didn't mention it in the review, but it's in there and it looks stupendous. I know his pauldrons and whatnot should be black, but honestly, the red of the windows and the red behind him and on his pauldrons, it gives him a more bad guy, evilish type of vibe, and I dig that. Maybe I have extra nostalgia for this guy because of the fact that I had him as a lad. But I do feel like the tolerances are a little bit better here, except for the hinge on the back. That frightens me, and I've heard others say that it frightens them. But you know what? I haven't heard of it breaking. So maybe it's just a tight hinge, but I have not heard of one breakage issue of that hinge on him. While I think he's slightly better, I love the fact that I have both of these guys. I liked these guys in G1. I liked that they were on the show, as brief as it was, and you know what? I actually had one of them. I passed this guy, but then I never saw him after, and it was always a shame having one without the other. So I'm so glad now that I have both updates, especially since I don't know when or if this guy's actually going to come out, not only in my country, but in my neck of the woods. I think I said that he was about an 8.5, 8.75, and I stand by it. Not perfect, but very, very strong. Let me know what you think about Runabout. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time, and I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member, baby. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, someway, each and every single solitary day, man, you do make a difference. You really do. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned one, baby, right here inside the videos.